Hello, my lucky learners. Welcome back to Lucky English for Beginners. I am so incredibly happy you are here with me today. Take a deep, slow breath. Let the weight of the world drop from your shoulders. For the next hour, this is your time, a sanctuary for your mind, your ears, and your voice. Today, we are going to embark on a journey that is truly epic. We are not just looking at a language. We are looking at a living, breathing history that spans over 15 centuries. We are going to explore the story of the English language. Many people think English is a finished language. They think it is fixed in a textbook, rigid and unchangeable. But that is the biggest myth of all. English is a survivor, it is a traveler, it is a shapeshifter. If you ever feel frustrated by a weird spelling or a confusing grammar rule, remember, this language was forged in the fires of invasion, trade, and cultural collision. It was never meant to be perfect, it was meant to be shared. Part 1, The Small Tribes and the Winds of the North. Our story begins in the 5th century. Imagine the coastline of modern-day Germany and Denmark. It is cold. The wind howls off the North Sea. There, 3 tribes lived in small wooden villages, the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes. They were farmers, they were sailors, they were warriors. They spoke a guttural, strong Germanic language that had nothing to do with the French or Latin influences we see today. They looked across the water toward a large, misty island, Britain. They packed their wooden boats and crossed the sea. They arrived in Britain not as masters, but as settlers. They brought with them the bones of English. Words like earth, sun, moon, house, man, woman, eat, drink, and sleep. These are the words of the earth. When you use these words, you are breathing the air of the 5th century. You are connecting with ancestors who had no idea that their simple farm talk would one day span the entire globe. This was Old English. It was tough. It was honest. It was the language of the hearth and the field. It was not a language of kings. It was a language of survival. Part 2, The Storm of the Vikings. Fast forward to the 8th century. The peaceful rhythm of Britain was broken. From the north came the Vikings. They arrived in dragon-headed ships, fast and fierce. At first there was blood, there was fire, and there was terror. But humans are curious creatures, and even warriors eventually want to sit down and share a meal. The Vikings stayed. They settled in the north and east of England. And as always happens when people live side by side, their languages began to dance. The Vikings gave us words that we use every single day without thinking. Think of the word sky. That is a Viking word. Think of egg. That is a Viking word. Knife, take, give, get. These simple, functional words filled the gaps in the old language. The Vikings were the first ones to simplify English. They didn't care about the complicated endings of the Old English grammar. They just wanted to be understood. This was the first time English became a mixed language. It was a beautiful, messy melting pot of Germanic tribes and Scandinavian seafarers. Part 3, The Day the World Changed, 1066. Now we come to the most important date in the history of our language, 1066. William the Conqueror, a duke from Normandy, France, crossed the English Channel. He won the Battle of Hastings and he became the King of England. Suddenly, the people at the top, the royalty, the judges, the aristocrats, and the wealthy landowners spoke French. For 300 years, England was a country of 2 worlds. If you were a peasant, you spoke English. If you were a lord, you spoke French. Imagine the scene in the marketplace. You would have a farmer selling a pig, an English word. A nobleman would come by and buy that pork, a French word. The farmer would raise a cow, English, but the noble would sit at a fancy table and eat beef, French. This is why English has so many synonyms. We have a word for the thing, English, and a word for the refined concept, French. We have ask English and inquire, French. We have help English and aid, French. This French invasion made English the most vocabulary-rich language in the history of the world. We became a hybrid. We became a language that could express things with the bluntness of the forest and the elegance of the palace. Part 4, The Printing Press and the Great Standardizer. Time marched on until 1476. A man named William Caxton brought the first printing press to London. Before this, language was fluid. If you lived in London, you spelled house one way. If you lived in York, you spelled it another way. There was no right or wrong. But once you print a book, you need a standard. You need to make sure the reader in the north understands the reader in the south. Caxton chose the dialect of London to be the standard, and just like that, the spelling of English was frozen. But there was a problem. By the time English spelling was frozen, the way we pronounced the words kept changing. This is why English spelling is so strange today. We are essentially writing words as they were pronounced in the 15th century, even though we say them differently now. Part 5, Shakespeare, the Word Maker. Enter William Shakespeare. If English was a house, Shakespeare was the architect who added the towers, the secret rooms, and the stained glass windows. He was an adventurer of language. He realized that the English language didn't have enough words to describe the human heart. He didn't just borrow words, he manufactured them. He would take a Latin word and give it an English suffix. He would take 2 words and smash them together. He created words like lonely, gloomy, majestic, dwindle, and swagger. He taught the world that English was not a fixed set of rules. It was a creative tool. He showed us that you could take a word and make it do something it had never done before. When you write an email or a story today, you are walking in the footsteps of Shakespeare. You are using the same toolkit he built 400 years ago. Part 6, The Great Expansion. Then came the age of exploration. Britain expanded its reach to India, to Africa, to the Americas, and to Australia. English became a global traveler. In India, English speakers saw a house on one floor with a veranda and called it a bungalow. They walked through the dense forests and called them jungle. In the Middle East, they encountered new goods and brought back sugar, coffee, and alcohol. English became the ultimate thief. It walked into every culture and took the words that fit the best. That is why English is so easy for many people to start. You probably already use words that come from your own culture. Part 7, Your Role in the History of English. So why does this matter to you as a learner in 2026? It matters because you need to stop being afraid of bad English. English has been bad for 1,500 years. It has been broken, mixed, and incorrect by every tribe that ever touched it. The Vikings didn't speak correct English. The French didn't speak correct English. Even Shakespeare would probably fail a modern English grammar test. The language survived because it didn't care about perfection. It cared about connection. It cared about communicating. When you struggle to find a word, don't feel ashamed. You are doing exactly what the language was designed to do. You are improvising. You are searching for a way to build a bridge between your mind and the mind of the person listening to you. Do you know how many words are in the English language? Over 1 million. Do you know how many you need to be fluent? Only a few thousand. You don't need to know the whole history. You just need to know how to use your small, beautiful piece of it. The long, slow path to fluency. Learning a language is not a sprint. It is a marathon that lasts a lifetime. I want you to imagine the English language as a giant ocean. You are standing on the shore and you are learning to swim. In the beginning, you might only stay in the shallow water. You worry about your feet touching the sand. You worry about your breathing. That is fine. Everyone starts in the shallow water. But if you keep showing up, if you keep listening to podcasts, if you keep trying to speak, you will slowly move toward the deep water. One day you will realize that you aren't thinking about the grammar anymore. You aren't thinking about the words. You are just swimming. You are just thinking in English. That is the moment of fluency. It doesn't happen with a loud bang. It happens slowly, like the tide coming in. The power of one day at a time. I want you to make a promise to yourself. Don't worry about being fluent in a year. Worry about being a little bit better tomorrow than you are today. If you learn one word, you have changed your brain forever. If you understand one sentence you didn't understand yesterday, you have expanded your world. That is progress. That is the only progress that counts. You are building a house of knowledge, brick by brick. If you only lay one brick a day, you will have a palace in a few years. Just don't stop laying the bricks. Keep listening to stories, keep reading simple books, keep talking to yourself in the mirror, keep being curious. Curiosity is the strongest engine in the world. As long as you are curious, you will never stop learning. A note on the future. The story of English is not over. It is being written by you right now. Every time you use English to send a message, to write a post, to share a thought, you are changing the language. You are making it your own. Your accent, your way of thinking, your unique perspective, these are not errors. These are the flavors you bring to the language. English is no longer just the language of England. It is the language of the world. It belongs to the person in New York, the person in Tokyo, the person in Nairobi, and the person in Lahore. It belongs to you. Final words of encouragement. My lucky learners, look how far you have come. You are listening to a podcast about the history of a language, and you are understanding it. Even if you don't understand every single word, you understand the heart of the message. That is the goal. Do not let the fear of mistakes hold you back. The mistakes are the most interesting part of the story. They are the parts where you are taking a risk. They are the parts where you are showing your courage. Keep being the brave traveler of your own journey. Keep exploring the forest of words. Keep building your roots in the dark soil of the plateau. Keep trusting that the bamboo will grow, even if you can't see it yet. You have all the tools you need inside you. You have the curiosity, you have the patience, and you have the strength. Thank you for letting me tell you this long, beautiful, messy, and wonderful story of the English language. It has been an honor to walk through these 1,500 years with you. Keep practicing, keep improving, and keep being lucky. I will be right here waiting for you in the next episode, ready to build another part of our bridge together. Bye for now. Before you move on, take a deep breath and tell me, if you could create one new word to describe your journey in English, what would that word be and what would it mean?